Well, for fans, after a whole year of nothing Marvel Studios, 2021 has been huge. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, both in theaters and on Disney Plus, did 9 projects. So I thought we could take a couple of minutes to give our personal rank on each one of those projects and talk about what our favorite one was and what our least favorite one was. But keep in mind, I actually don't think any of these are quote-unquote bad. Now, before we dive in though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, the huge giveaway. We got this PlayStation 5 to give away at 25,000 subscribers. All you need to do to get in on the giveaway is be a subscriber and leave us a comment. Also, while you're at it, make sure you check out that free week of Skillshare down below. It's a pretty cool way for you to develop all of your superhero skills for that never-ending war on crime, all while not diving too deep into your pockets. Also, it really does help the channel, so we really appreciate it. Well, like I said, heading into 2021, there was a ton of Marvel Studios coming our way, and we got 9 different projects this year. So I thought we could take a couple of minutes to break down from lowest to highest which ones we like the best. So let's dive in. Coming in at the number 9 position is The Eternals. Now, unfortunately, this was the first film to be rated rotten from Marvel Studios, and quite honestly, a lot of critics did not respond well to the film. Now, there were some crazy, jaw-dropping moments in the movie, but quite honestly, it didn't connect on a lot of levels, and I think the ambitious scale and the time jumps and cuts really put a lot of fans off. I do think the movie was pretty good, and actually, on rewatch, I thought it was even better, but it was probably my least favorite Marvel Studios project for the year. Now, in the number 8 position was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I did think the series was pretty good, and it did a pretty awesome job of exploring the relationship between Sam and Bucky Barnes after Steve Rogers has left their side. I did kind of like the story about Sam's decision not to wield his shield and the reasons behind it, and the introduction of John Walker was at least a little compelling, although he was really easy not to like. Unfortunately, the series really didn't connect with the villains. The Power Broker reveal kind of proved underwhelming, and I still think Sharon Carter might be a Skrull. Additionally, Carly Montague's story had some high points, but they were far and few between, and she really didn't resonate with a lot of fans. Although, I have to say, maybe the highlight of the whole show was Daniel Brühl's Baron Zemo, who clearly we're going to get a lot more of in the future. Now, in the number 7 position is Black Widow. I do think Black Widow was pretty darn cool, but the film itself was very ill-timed. We all know former Marvel leadership, that would be Ike Perlmutter, kind of sandbagged Black Widow projects, and although the movie did do pretty good in the box office, there was a lot of drama associated with its simultaneous release, and I found it somewhat anticlimactic and was a bit disappointed in Taskmaster, who, if I'm being transparent, is one of my favorite villains ever. Now, coming in the number 6 position was What If, and clearly it was a pretty big and successful first attempt for Marvel Studios at doing something animated. Now, the show did have its ups and downs, but I really did love how it seeded a lot of interesting Marvel Studios details and set up quite a few things for the future of the MCU. We already have rumors of Captain Carter returning in the Multiverse of Madness, and we also saw that evil version of Doctor Strange from the show in the Multiverse of Madness trailer, so we're going to be getting quite a bit of that. I actually think, looking back, the show is really going to be required viewing for many fans to make sure they understand all the storylines going on. Now, in number 5 position is Hawkeye. Marvel's Hawkeye was a nice holiday surprise. I was fairly unfamiliar with Kate Bishop before we dove into the show, and the show gave us an exciting but kind of light romp into the MCU. Now, clearly it was a pretty big deal that they brought back Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin character, but the show itself really did establish a lot of nice little tropes in the Marvel Universe, including, spoiler alert, Laura is actually Mockingbird, which I was really happy to see that pan out that way because I have wondered for a long time exactly how Hawkeye met that sort of amazing person. Now, in the number 4 position is WandaVision. Now, I know a lot of people did not care for how WandaVision ended, but I actually thought it was pretty rock solid. But how they did WandaVision is what really pushed it so far up on the list for me. I totally love the old TV show aspects and tropes that they used in this series. Personally, I grew up on a lot of these shows in reruns, so to see them put to work in a Marvel series was pretty amazing. Now, they did use a lot of misdirection, and we probably said Mephisto 8,000 times during the series, but they did take us in a different direction and totally set us up for a future with not just the Scarlet Witch, but both of her children, Wiccan and Speed. Now, the number 3 position is my second favorite movie of the year, and that would be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Quite honestly, this movie is even better on rewatch, and I think it set a new bar for Marvel fight scenes going forward. The movie did very well in the theaters for a character who's completely unknown to most people outside of Marvel Comics, and the reinvigoration of the Ten Rings, as well as the alterations to that organization, totally worked. I have to say, I really look forward to seeing what Marvel Studios is going to do with Simu Liu's Shang-Chi character and where they go in the next installment. Now, my number 2 position goes to the God of Mischief, Loki. Out of all the Marvel series that dropped this year, Loki was my favorite, but he was one of my favorite characters before the show kicked off. Now, the time-traveling aspects of this show totally kicked off the Marvel multiverse, and the game-changing finale leading to Kang the Conqueror entering the MCU is going to have long and reverberating effects. The series itself did a pretty good cop, bad cop story with Loki and Morbius, as well as a rather unexpected and interesting love story between the God of Mischief and, well, another God of Mischief, Sylvie. We're going to get a season 2 of this show, and we also know Kang is set to return in Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, so I don't think we know how far this show has touched the MCU, but we do know it's touched it in a big way, and it's going to impact multiple projects throughout the next coming phase. I actually think, looking back, this will be the kickoff moment for a Secret Wars event. Now this brings us to number 1, which should be pretty easy to figure out. That was Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, this movie was spectacular and actually delivered in so many ways. I do have to say, I didn't know what to believe in the massive leaks and rumor mill that were running leading up to it, but more importantly, I was concerned that this many characters, this many cameos, and this many pieces of a multiverse would not work in one movie. And I was wrong. The whole film itself set us up for a ton of stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and completely altered Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man in a really unexpected way. I have to say, Spider-Man is always a loner, and leaving Peter the way they did at the end of the series totally tees up multiple stories going forward. I'm not really sure where they're going to take the character, but the future of Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe is big. Now, next year, I don't think we have as many projects coming our way, but there are some big ones. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight are all at the top of my list. So stay tuned to the channel because we are going to be covering all of those projects deeply. So, what do you guys think? What was your favorite Marvel project of 2021? And what project are you most looking forward to in the next year? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not going to get any updates. Peace.